afternoon. Welcome to Moreton Matters News,
where there'll be a variety of stories which will draw your attention
to our main item on the tomorrow's morning solar eclipse.
What is a solar eclipse? This morning we interviewed our science teacher, Miss Sturgis, about the eclipse and what an eclipse actually is. Let's have a look.
We all know that the eclipse is coming on Friday. Do you know how it's formed?
Yes, of course. So the eclipse on Friday, it should start around 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning and ends about 11 o'clock. And it's when the moon lines up with the earth and the sun, and so it'll block out the sunlight. So when you look at the sun, all you'll see is just like a ring and black, so it should go dark. And so it's just about lining up the earth, the moon and the sun, so that the moon's totally blocked out the sunlight.
How do you feel about the eclipse coming?
Excited. I think it's exciting. Sometimes you might only see it once. It depends, doesn't it? And sometimes you don't see it in all areas of the world, but for us it should be happening in the morning, so all of a sudden it'll go dark. And it's quite exciting to explain that.
Thank you, Miss Sturgis, and I really enjoyed talking to you.
You're welcome. Thank you for talking to me.
And this was Moreton Matters.
Some countries will experience a total solar eclipse, with the majority of Europe experiencing a good amount of the sun being temporarily blocked out.
This eclipse is predicted to peak at around 9:30 am, with the sun returning to normal by 11.
This won't be another solar eclipse in the Europe until 2026, so it should not be missed.
Thanks for listening.
Our next subject we will be reporting on comic relief, and I will be explaining why it's so important to Moreton Community School.
It's Mira, and today we'll be discussing comic relief and why it is important in Moreton. To you, Emily, for further detail.
Thank you, Holly. I shall be discussing the positives with my colleague Leah. So the main positives are that it benefits the children, the ones rising and the ones receiving. It gives the ones rising a sense of pride that they are helping others, the ones in need. And it obviously benefits those receiving because they can get medicine and other required things for their health and well-being.
Also, a lot of celebrities contributed to the money by going on television for the Comic Relief yearly show. David Williams, Orlando Bloom, Davina McCauley, Emma Watson and Dermot O'Leary. David Williams did a sketch show and also broke the world's record for 55 kisses in 30 seconds. Orlando also kissed David along with Davina McCall. David's sketch show was with the famous genius Stephen Hawking. Their roles were the characters out of Little Britain. Dermot O'Leary did a 24-hour dance-off and raised £500,000. Emma Watson also did a sketch show, Vicar of Dibley.
Today we're here with Miss Ward and we're going to ask her questions about comic relief. What is comic relief?
Comic Relief is a charity that was set up about 30 years ago by Lenny Henry, and the aim was to raise money for people across the world, particularly in the African countries who are less fortunate than ourselves. Currently, over 30 years of fundraising, they've just broken the £1 billion barrier.
Why is comic relief important to you?
Comic Relief and all charities play a very big role in my life. I've been brought up in a family where fundraising and doing stuff for other people has always been in existence. My mum does a lot of charity work and that has sort of been bred into me since a small child. So Comic Relief and Children in Need are two of the biggest charities that we can support because the activities that we do to raise money are quite simple. You know, we can raise a lot of money straight away by holding an own clothes day and everybody paying £1 to wear their own clothes, and it's something the kids get a kick out of and they enjoy it, and it's quite simple and straightforward to organise.
How much did the school raise?
This year we raised just shy of £1,000, but we are still collecting money for charities, and we're going to try and get exactly £1,000, which the government are then going to double. So that will mean that we've contributed £2,000 to charity this year.
How did we raise this money?
We held an own clothes day a week last Friday, and we also had a bake sale, and several members of staff and contributors from outside made some cakes. The cakes were also raffled off, and Mr McNaughton and Mr Bediaco bought a beautiful cake that my mum had made for them and contributed a substantial amount of money. We also had a house competition where we were collecting pennies and spare change to see which house could raise the most money. And several students helped sell red noses, and we collected over £100 just from the sale of red noses on the day.
How would you say Red Nose Day benefits the children?
Which children? The school children or the children that the money is raised for?
School children first.
School children first. I think it gives them a sense of ownership and a contribution to the bigger world, because there's a massive world outside Moreton School, and you need to be aware of that, kids need to be aware of that, that the world doesn't evolve around Moreton School or the Scotland's Estate or Wolverhampton. And whilst we are all affected by things that go on the patch in a social setting, there are many, many bigger social problems across the world. And I think part of a life skill and development is having an understanding of what goes on across the world, and it's our duty as good citizens to try and help out where we can. Across the world, Comic Relief has raised over £1 billion to set up education systems and programmes to treat disease, such as malaria and HIV, to raise awareness of poverty, and has had a prolific effect on the lives of so many people.
Thank you for letting us ask you some questions.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's all for me.
Thank you for watching info on Comic Relief. Over to Amira with the news.
Next story about the new £1 coin.
Hello, my name is Dylan and this is Harry reporting for Moreton Matters. A few days ago, the new £1 coin was designed by a 15-year-old named David Pearce. The pound coin shows the United Kingdom's flowers on it. It has an English rose, a Welsh leek, a Scottish thistle and an Irish shamrock. It has the crown holding them together. It also has 12 sides like the old 3p coin. Over to Harry.
Thanks, Dylan. The new coin will be released in 2017 and will be harder to copy because of the colour. To put this from another viewpoint, 3% of all existing £1 coins are likely to be fake. However, there are some disadvantages, such as all shopping trolleys, vending machines and phone boxes must be replaced, costing over £2 billion. The design won over 600,000 entries in this public competition. Thanks for watching. Now back to the studio. We'll have two people talking about the royal family. Over to them.
My name is Kieran.
And my name is Cameron.
Today we are going to be discussing the royal family.
Here's a fact about Elizabeth II. In 1952, on the 6th of February, she became queen when her mother sadly passed away.
The royal family started in 450 AD. Nowadays, most people are against the idea of royal family because they had to pay 20 million for the royal wedding. The way the royal family paid for this was through taxes.
However, Prince Albert is the head of over 4 charities, and Prince William and Prince Harry are fighting in the war in Afghanistan.
But now they've stopped, haven't they? What's your argument?
Back to the studio.
Over to Leighton and Ethan talking about role models.
We're going to talk about issues of role models in the 21st century. Many of our positive role models are to do with sports. First of all, David Beckham is the ultimate role model because he gives most of his money to the poor and helps South Africa. Also, Jessica Ennis is a role model because she was awarded a CBE by the Queen. This was for being a golden girl who won gold at the 2012 Olympic Games for heptathlon. However, there are many poor role models that teenagers look up to.
Luis Suarez is one because he just keeps on biting people. These people are influential. And young people want to follow them. We've recorded many people at Moreton Community School and their role models. Here they are.
Hello, my role model I would say is my dad, because he achieved lots of things in his life. Not only was he a fantastic teacher, but he had other interests like art, and he jumped out of an aeroplane. And I also have done art and I jumped out of an aeroplane, so here's my role model.
I'm I'm Miss Powers and my role model is my dad. He's absolutely awesome. He always helps me out and he told me yesterday that I had to move out, so I'm not very happy with him. But he's a little man about town, does everything for you and he's absolutely fantastic. So that's my role model.
Okay, my role model is Vivienne Westwood because I've got a degree in fashion design and I would just love to have her career.
Hello, I'm Miss Healy and my role model is Mrs Wilkes. Whilst I have the tendency to go out and eat Nando's almost every day of the week, Mrs Wilkes is inspiring me to be better and to do more exercise in order to lead a healthier way of life.
Two young gentlemen either side of me are my role models. They do everything they can for PE and do anything for me.
Back to the studio. I'm Olivia and today I'm going to be talking to you about St Patrick's Day. It's celebrated on March the 17th because this is when St Patrick died. On this day, many bars sell beer and Chicago dyes its river green. This is an international festive day. It became a feast day in the 17th century. Patrick's Day was originally associated with the colour blue. Many people know that St Patrick's Day is associated with Ireland. However, St Patrick was actually Roman Catholic. Each year, people spend an average of £6.4 billion, around about £13 million of alcohol is purchased. Most of these alcohol is Guinness. And this causes many drink driving accidents, of course, and the day after is called Hangover Day because many people are hungover.
Hello, I'm Holly. And I'm Bethany, and this is Miss Kibble. We're going to be asking questions. What is History Squad?
History Squad was a professional reenactor who comes in and does dramatic representations of different periods of history, and we got him in to do Tudors for our Year 7s.
Why did you invite him?
Because Year 7 has been brilliant this year. We thought he needed a treat, and we've seen him before and he's a bit mad, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we thought it'd be a really interesting way of teaching you about the Tudors.
How did History Squad engage the students?
Well, he was dressed up, he was in character, he was telling us some really gory things, wasn't he? He was telling us some really mad, gory bits of history, a bit like horrible histories, because you like all that stuff, don't you? Yeah. So yeah, that's how we did it. And he had a sword. That was engaging. You all loved that when he got the sword out and the axe. So weapons, he brought weapons in.
What did the children learn?
Well, after I spoke to you guys, you said you learned loads. He told you a bit more about Richard III, who you haven't studied. He told you a bit more about everyday life in the Tudor period, because we've just done kings and queens, haven't we, and politics and religion. So he taught you more about social history. And he told us some things that we didn't know, some interesting things about where different phrases and words come from, things like that.
How did you prepare the event?
Well, I had to email the guy in advance and say, look, our Year 7s are really, really good. They've been doing religion, so you need to focus more on that. I had to ask Mr Williams, I had to ask Miss Bruce, I had to come up with a plan for the day, I had to tell all your teachers that you weren't going to be in lessons, I had to book the theatre. So it took quite a bit of planning in advance, but it was worth it, wasn't it?
What got you into history?
When I was little, my grandparents took me to National Trust houses, and I didn't realise that was history. I just liked looking around people's houses, kind of a bit nosy. So I enjoyed that. And then when I went to secondary school and I started doing history lessons, my history teacher, Mrs P, said to me, "You're really good at this." And I was like, "Oh, I'm good at something. I'm going to do this. I'm going to behave in these lessons and I'm going to work hard." So I got really interested in history because my teachers were brilliant. They were a bit mad, and I had family who encouraged me. And I read a lot, and lots of books about history, so that's how I got into it.
Are there any techniques History Squad use that you intend to use in your class?
Absolutely. We're a bit mad anyway, as you all know, the history department. We've decided we can be a bit madder, and we've decided that we might dress up like the guy did and be a bit more into character. Mr Walker's already tried it with one of his classes. He's dressed up as a mod in the 1960s, so he's already tried that with NIU. So we're definitely going to try that. A bit more drama. As if we needed any more drama in history, eh?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, roving reporters.
Thank you.
Earlier today we interviewed the head of PE, Mr Hines, to ask him about Moreton School's sporting activities.
Hi, this is Moreton Matters. Today we are with Mr Hines, the PE teacher, to ask him some questions. Can you update us on the latest fixtures in school?
Certainly can, boys, but first of all, thank you for coming to interview me this morning for BBC School Report. Doing a fantastic job. This term has been a really important term for the school. We've had plenty of basketball fixtures against Moseley Park in competitions. We've had the Year 7s go out and represent at indoor athletics. Previous to last term, we had the Year 8 football team, Year 7 football team and Year 10 football team all performing well in the league, and 2 teams actually making the quarter-finals, which is fantastic. Obviously, the young man here has represented us at the basketball team, and that's something that's taken off this year and we've done particularly well.
Do you see any future sports stars in Moreton?
Ooh, there's too many to probably mention. We have a lot of sporting ability here at Moreton School, especially our people taking part in fixtures and give up their own time, which is the most important thing. To come give you time at lunchtimes and after school to show your commitment to the club. Future stars, we've got a couple of Year 11 basketball players who could probably go on and represent clubs a little bit further down the line. Past stars that have just come through, we've had 3 girls represent English National League volleyball, which is obviously a big achievement for the school, and hats off and well done to them. A few good footballers that are making it into academies, and like you say, the PE department, we're here to support the learning and development of young people trying to get into sport, and they're all doing quite well. So hopefully we'll have some more future stars for you.
What do you think about the football academy going to Canada and the rugby academy going to Czech Republic?
First of all, fantastic opportunity really for those post-16 students. Some of our academy lads, should I say, for football and rugby. Really talented footballers doing really well in their league. A rugby team building week by week with Mr Polton and the support that they have there. But what a great opportunity. 4 or 5 days away playing in a foreign country against different people, different cultures, different life experiences, and something that the 9s, 10s and 11s of the school, and even the 7s and 8s should be aspiring to, thinking, could I represent our school academies one day and have an opportunity to go abroad and play against some different teams. So yeah, big fan of it, massive support. I think it's a great opportunity for our pupils.
What school team do you think has excelled?
Oh wow, that's a difficult one. Past years, Mr Quigley's had some very strong football teams that have come through. A lot of those lads now playing for the academy. They've done well, got 2 national standard finals. At the moment, I'd probably say our basketball teams have got a good opportunity. I did talk earlier about our football teams who did well in the league, but basketball I think is going to be probably one of our strongest ones moving forward over the next 2 terms. Obviously, I want to think about there is our athletics teams, so those who are tuning in and listening to the report. Our athletics clubs will be starting after Easter, and again, more sporting opportunities from the PE department.
Hi, this is Moreton Matters. Thanks for watching. School has a really great amount of activities to do and future stars. Watch this space.
Final story today, International Women's Day with Miss Bruce, Head of History. Hi, I'm Olivia from Moreton School, and here with me we have Miss Bruce, part of the History Department, and she's here today to tell us about International Women's Day at Moreton.
We celebrated in March International Women's Day as we do every year. The hashtag and the kind of theme for this year was to make it happen, and that was to make equality for women happen and gender equality. So we decided to highlight all the brilliant things that we do at Moreton to push equality and actually to show that nationally and internationally might be a problem, but here at Moreton we're doing A-OK.
Thank you. Back to the studio.
Britain has been put in a health crisis as Europe has brought over a polluted cloud that is now hovering over Britain. People who suffer from asthma have a 90% chance of suffering from asthma attacks. If not treated properly, it could lead to death. Over to Lee, who'll be talking about the eclipse and the weather.
As already mentioned, the eclipse is tomorrow, so you can all remember. Today will be very sunny, with patches of clouds coming in. But tomorrow, when the eclipse comes, it will also be sunny. In the south and west, also Wales and West Midlands. That is the best place you will see the eclipse. Thank you for watching our Moreton Matters News.